Hey YouTube, how's it going? My name's Mark. Doing an update on the 24-gallon aquatop and the 20-gallon nuvo fusion, and just what's been going on. Good news and bad news in the 24-gallon aquatop. I've gotten a lot more corals from a guy who was shutting a tank down, and got a great deal on a lot of new invertebrates to add to that tank. The bad news is the 24-gallon had a rough week this week with the fish. The inhabitants basically lost 3 out of 4. The goby got caught in a net, and I didn't survive. I had a net in there to stop the green finger coral from falling into the intake. The goby got trapped in there. That was my own doing, so I felt pretty bad. Then I went somewhere overnight, middle of the week, came back, and the fanciest fish I had in this tank, the pintail wrasse, decided to be a jumper. So it was my first jumper, and it was costly, but whatever. And then today I found out that my male anthea had an internal disease that was incurable and fatal. So, yeah, so I'm not going to add any more fish to this tank for maybe a month, because I got to ensure that the female is not being infected and she looks perfectly fine, and just to make sure that I don't add any new fish and then they start off being infected. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what's going on. I turned the main lights on, and I also turned the pumps off so you guys can get a better look on the new corals I have added to this tank. That way we can take a top view. Down in the bottom left, you can see a massive colony of Duncan that I got. Talking about 87, it's somewhere between 85 to 90 head. It's incredible. Yeah, so there's another new coral just north of that, or just between him and the big colony of zoas. Forgot what they're called. And then there's a Duncan I'd originally received off him, a frag right there, and it's doing really well. I also got these mushrooms from him. Those mushroom rocks. Another mushroom rock here. Some 3-year-old polys there. Got my first toadstool sitting right there. Some of these you have to forgive me, I forgot the names of them, but that one has tentacles that comes out at night. Good size. That cool grouping right there. I don't want to chop up all the names of these corals before I even have them memorized or named yet. But got that mushroom rock right there. That guy I had there, the flower box or flower pot. That one's pretty cool looking. I just barely got that one towards the end. Another Duncan frag. But yeah, this Duncan colony is just huge. I mean, I can't even do a comparison. There's a mushroom rock there below it. My tank's really coming together nice. I'm very, very pleased. Bummed out that the fish didn't make, had their little incident, but I'll replace them. And in the Duncan colony, you can see in the bottom, almost looks like a tree trunk. And in that whole base there is almost like a root base. It's all calcification. So pretty incredible. Very, very proud and pleased to be the new owner of this Duncan colony. Also proud of that colony as well. Well, all these new items that I acquired, I'm very proud of. A lot of them are roughly about 3 years old. That's how long that gentleman had his tank going. Guy by the name of Marcin here in Las Vegas. Thank you very much, Marcin, if you're watching this video. The toad still looks pretty cool. So that's the status of this tank right now. Pretty incredible when you think this is week, let me think, week 10, I believe. It's either week 10 or week 11. So, and already having a tank this advanced. Buddy, don't be a jumper, okay? We need a survivor there for the next generation. So, let's go take a look and see what else is going on. I also set up a frag tank. Set up a little frag tank in here in my restroom. Have these guys separated. These are the first victims of my frag tank that I'm fragging. I have those three separated. Eventually, once the mother plant grows, this is the green finger coral. It has another name, I can't remember. But once it begins to shoot out to where it was originally taken off for these guys here, then I will take off the other end. And then these are going to be my main plants, and then I will make frags off of these. So it's a lot more of a plant than I had ever anticipated it's going to be. So I definitely need to get this frag tank up and running. I'm putting a BioLife filter on here from Coral Life. It's on its way. Until now I have this one as a standard just to survive and get me by. And this tank really did get established here pretty quick. But I had a rock that I already had it sitting in a bucket for 3 months or 2 months. This is the original rock that I was going to start the 24-gallon aquatop with, but it's still functional. Turning into live rock. It's got some copods and anthropods in it. So, and then I had my old current light when I got my, it came with my 20-gallon. And talking about the 20-gallon, let's go take a look at it. Here's the 20-gallon. I tried to put the full lighting on and it's still coming out really blue. You can see all the fish in here are doing good. Got my first sign. I was noticing it this morning of purple coralline. I didn't do any kind of inducing purple up or anything like that, but there she goes. So now the purple coralline is going to start growing in this tank, and I'm going to have fun trying to control that. The purple coralline, even though most people want that in their tanks, it's going to be a challenge to handle. But this guy's still doing okay. He only has half the polyps up he had before. You know, some of these corals go through an adjustment when you bring them into your tank. But yeah, so my water parameters were pretty far off, and I went through and got them back up and tuned up. I think the last time you guys might have seen that guy in the middle there, he was hanging here upside down, and I decided to turn him right side up because I didn't want half the coral or the bottom third of the coral to whiten and die off with a lack of light. So I said no, that might end up hurting that whole coral. So, but this is my SPS tank. It's still doing well as well. Top view. Try not to blind you with a Hydro 26. That's what's going on there. Once again, another incredible tank for just being 10 to 11 weeks old. So, well, that's pretty much it I have for this episode. Just giving you guys an update of all these new corals that are in here now. Bad news about losing some fish, but that's part of the hobby. Hopefully you don't lose as many as I did, 75% of your stock in 1 week. that was kind of rough, but okay. Well, thank you for watching my channel.